Yesho nuratma chetasa veditavyo yasmin prana panchadha samvivesha pranaishchittam sarvamottam prajanam yasmin vishuddhe vibhavatyesha atma Yesho nuratma chetasa veditavyo yasmin prana panchadha samvivesha pranaishchittam sarvamottam prajanam yasmin vishuddhe vibhavatyesha atma. This subtle self, yesha anuhu atma. Anuhu means the subtle, atma the self. Veditavyam should be realized through the chetasa through the mind. The prana, life principle, has entered the mind of all beings in 5 ways and interwoven as the pranas, the vital airs. Panchadha samvivesha. Prana, the life principle, samvivesha has entered. Ottam, interwoven prajanam, of beings in 5 ways. When the mind is purified, the self is revealed. Yasmin vishuddhe vibhavatyesha atma. Yasmin, in whom? Vishuddhe, purification. The self reveals. Vibhavati. Vibhavati reveals. So it's a simple, straightforward message. So the subtle self should be realized through the mind. In the purification of the mind, the self is revealed. So the mind seems to be the medium. The mind seems to be the means to get to the self. So the mind is the medium between the unmanifest Brahman and the manifested world. So the unmanifest expresses through the mind, creating the manifested world. Isn't it? The manifested world, which is the waking world, is there because of the mind. So the unmanifest Brahman expresses, manifests through the mind. In simple terms, Brahman is always there, plus the waker's mind equals the waker's world, isn't it? When we go to sleep, the waker's mind is not there, but Brahman is there. Since the waker's mind is not there, there is no waker's world. Since the dreamer's thoughts exist, there is a dream world. It's very simple, isn't it? It's pretty straightforward. Brahman plus the waker's mind equals waker's world. Brahman plus the deep sleeper's mind is the deep sleeper's world. In deep sleep, there is no mind. Therefore, in deep sleep, we say there is no world. Amani bhava. Relatively, there is no mind. So you need to use your mind, which is responsible for the creation. What do you need to do? You need to purify the mind. In the purification of the mind, the self is revealed. What is the purification of the mind? In the 8th mantra, which we saw last week, he said, Vishuddha Sattvaha, one who is made the mind pure. How do you make the mind pure? Karma, tapaha, and jnanam. Followed by meditation, the mind, a pure mind realizes that we have already gone through the 8th mantra. So once the mind is made pure, he says, in that pure mind, the self is revealed. Just like you don't see your reflection in disturbed water. When the water has ripples, you don't see your reflection gets blurred. But you want to see your reflection in the water, you must ensure the water is still. So the water is like the mind. When the mind is still, you realize yourself. So when he says, in the purification of the mind, the self is revealed. The self is revealed when there is no mind. Please understand that. A purified mind is no mind. That is what is called amani bhava, absolute sense, mindlessness. A purified mind is a state of mindlessness or thoughtlessness or vasanalessness or desirelessness. So how do you get to that state of a purified state of the mind? Because as long as you have any thoughts, the self cannot be revealed. Any thought, including the very thought for the self. Interesting. As long as you have any thought, including the thought for the self cannot be realized. Just like if you have any thoughts disturbing you, including the very thought to sleep or the anxiety to sleep, you will not be able to sleep. If you have to sleep, to get to sleep, you must give up all other thoughts which are consumed by the waker's mind, including the very desire or anxiety to sleep. When the very desire or anxiety to sleep, along with every other desire in the waker's mind, drops, that is when you slip into the dream. Exactly the same way, all other desires, including the very desire for the self, must sublimate, must disappear, must get eradicated, must get exhausted. That is what is said to be here as the purification of the mind or a pure mind. Vishuddha, even here he used the same word, Vishuddha. In the previous mantra, he used the word Vishuddha. See, a simple example. When we say a pure sample of any metal, when you say this is pure silver, when you say pure, 100% pure silver, means it has no other element other than silver in it, isn't it? No otherness. A pure sample of gold means it has no other element in it other than gold. So purified mind means there is no thoughts. That is the extension. Purified mind doesn't mean good thoughts. Whether you have good thoughts or bad thoughts, the most vicious thoughts you have. And Shivaji, so vicious thoughts you have. Okay, sir, I will purify my mind. Next time I see you, all my thoughts have become very virtuous. All vicious thoughts have become virtuous. What a transformation, Shivaji. In short time, you made your mind so pure. Even the most virtuous thoughts are impure. Why? The equation of the self is man minus thoughts equals the self. So the real purification of the self, purification of the mind means the mind must be devoid of any thought, good or bad. Only when the mind is devoid of thoughts, that's when the self is revealed. So therefore, the goal is, what is the goal here? The goal is to keep reaching that, goal is to reach that state of thoughtlessness. In order to reach that state of thoughtlessness, what one needs to do? Constantly, whenever a thought appears, whenever a thought surfaces, question is, when is it not surfacing? Oh my God, sir. It's all the time surfacing, sir. When is it not surfacing? Please ask me. All the time it is overflowing, it's inundating, it is gushing with thoughts. But when you first reduce the traffic of thoughts, means once you become a little introverted, then you will be very mindful of replacing one thought with the other. That's all you can do. When there are too many thoughts, you don't know which to address, which not to address. But slowly, when you reduce the traffic, when you see the futility in a thought, that I don't think anybody can plant that in you. Nobody can plant that ability to see the futility in anything. What is that quality called? The ability to see futility in anything. It seems very futile. It seems very insignificant. And nobody can plant that in you. Believe me, no guru can give that to you. A guru can give you knowledge, but he can't plant that capacity to see futility. And what is that quality called? UK. What do you call that quality in Sanskrit? Sanskrit da kya karna? Or you can say in English also, never mind.
Is it, Guruji, is it being a witness, sakshi to your thoughts and everything? Or detached attitude, with a detached attitude?
I thought I'll maintain a witness to your answer, I thought.
For how long, Guruji?
For how long? Until people think something has gone wrong with the Guruji's connection. Why is he frozen? Not wrong. It's not witness, but rather the quality of seeing. What did you use the word?
Sakshi, I said. And
It's not Sakshi. Sakshi is not the right answer. But what is that? What
in a
you said some
detached,
other word.
the detached attitude, I said, Guruji. Being a witness to your thoughts with a detached attitude, I said. Also, if your intellect is very strong, will you be able to do that, Guruji? More.
It is a quality. See, we always associate intellect as wisdom. And intellect or wisdom is establishment in higher.
Yes.
So your futility, utter futility, it's not a false sense. It's a true sense of a quality that I'm asking. What is that quality? You said detachment. It is there, but it can go a little closer. Okay. In fact, Raghuji, you are correctly answered. Raghu has answered. It is vairagya. Vairagya means you develop a sense of true dispassion. You can also say vairagya as detachment, but I believe the word dispassion gives a far more, there's a pun on that word dispassion. Means the object or the joy has no charm, nor value, nor significance, nor existence in your life. And that is not, many people exhibit a smashana vairagya, a false sense of vairagya. Smashana vairagya is where you inwardly have a value, but put on an act of dispassion. To impress others. If I have to impress somebody, I put on an act that I'm not interested in, but inwardly I entertain a value for it. Now, when you say, Setuji, the world is Maya, are you able to apply that principle to everything in the world? The most valuable thing in the world for you, is it Maya for you now? So, ultimately, it is Maya. But as long as you are in that state, it is difficult to say Maya. It is very much real, but the world loses the value for you, or you lose the value for the world. The world has no value for you. You can't call it illusion. You can't say it doesn't exist. Illusion is when you have transcended the world. For a waker, the dream world is illusion. But when you are in the dream world, to a dreamer, you can't say the dream world is illusion. You can tell him, but it has he doesn't understand until he wakes up. So until you and I wake up to the self, the real impact of the word Maya doesn't hit us. We don't know in reality that how the whole world that we're living is illusory. We don't know. It's just objective knowledge we have. But in order to reach that ultimate state of illusory perception, that to perceive that this is unreal, you need to build on the vairagya bank balance. What is the bank balance of your vairagya? 100% vairagya is illusory, Maya. But 100% vairagya is 100% realization. If you were to put it in that sense. So what a student should cultivate, no guru can give vairagya to you. What a student should cultivate is vairagya. What a guru can give is viveka. I can help you discriminate, but I can't help you practice dispassion. So this is how you start, this is how, so you apply vairagya, dispassion to your thoughts. It is your thoughts that take you to the world. It is your thoughts that draw you to the world. It is your thoughts that create an interest for the world. So when you start genuinely appreciating a higher thought, to that extent, the lower thought starts cultivating a flavor of vairagya. This is how you can't directly cultivate vairagya to the lower. Let's say if somebody is extremely caught up in chasing wealth, in amassing wealth, you can't tell him have vairagya to it. I can't digest that gentleman came up to, was introduced in a good sense that I could be of some help. But that man was so shallow. He said, I have a fortune of, I don't know, I can't remember the actual figure, 1,000, 2,000 crores, he said. That's my net worth. But I have a problem with my wife. And he's asking me, Guruji, can you please recommend me a lady whom you think is right for me? Little younger, the better. I said, for a moment, I don't know where I was. How can I tell that fellow have vairagya? How can I say Nari stanabhara nabhi desham društva maga moha vesham etan mam sava sadvikaram manasivi chintaya varam varam. I said, certainly, sir. I will recommend, I said. And once my bank balance of recommendations increase, I'll start recommending to you. But for now, I don't have any recommendation, he said. How shallow was that man? How hollow was his approach to life? So you can't appreciate, so don't try to, as we have always maintained, a very important point, you cannot practice vairagya. You say, oh, let me start practicing vairagya to this. Oh, Guruji said, Vedanta says you must practice vairagya. Let me start practicing vairagya. Harish, you can't do that. Vairagya cannot be practiced. Why cannot vairagya be practiced? Because it is not a practice. Vairagya is a state you attain. It's a place you reach. It is not the journey. It is a destination. So what is the journey? I repeat, vairagya is not a practice. It's a destination. That's why I asked you, what is your bank balance? Your spiritual bank balance is measured by the quotient of vairagya. What is your vairagya quotient? That you can't go to the bank and say, I want to increase my bank balance. He said, get out. Am I going to keep putting money into your account? He says, I can't do anything. You earn money and then you put it. I will tell you what I can give you. You can't go to the bank and ask, can you, Harish?
No.
You can't. So what did we say vairagya is, Harish?
It's Guruji. It's Viagra is we display a sense of dispassion.
Sir, it is not Viagra, it is vairagya.
Yeah, Viagra. Sorry, very difficult to pronounce. Sorry, Guruji. Sorry.
So let's get that correct first. Then we will move the next step.
Yeah.
It is Vairagya.
Got it.
Pronounce it.
Vairagya.
All right, we will get there. We will get there. So Vairagya cannot be practiced. Why can't we practice? I said Vairagya is a
Destination.
it's a destination. It's a state you reach. It's not a quality to be practiced. I can tell you practice withdrawal from the world. I can't tell you practice Vairagya to the world. I can't. You can't, you should never be what you are not. If you're trying to practice Vairagya, you're being hypocritical. Remember that. If you're trying to practice Vairagya, I'm repeating it, you are trying to be hypocritical. You are trying to be what you're not. You're trying to impress the world. In the process, you fool yourself. But Vairagya is a destination. So the destination, if Vairagya is a destination, and what is that which need to practice to reach the destination? What is the journey then? That was the question, Harish. If Vairagya is the destination, what is the journey?
Guruji, the journey is to practice Brahma Murtam daily so we can increase the sattvic quotient of our gunas.
Out of context answer.
Okay.
What is Vairagya? We said, how did we define Vairagya? Vairagya is?
We develop a sense of dispassion.
Correct. Vairagya is dispassion to an object or being, or to the joy an object or being can give you. You know the joy. You very well know what's the joy. It's not that you are foolishly dropping anything. That is tamasic Vairagya. Sattvic Vairagya is you very well know what is the object. You know what joy it can give you, and then you drop it because you have no value for it. If you drop something without knowing what it is tamasic Vairagya. Oh, I did not know there was so much joy in it. Accidentally, you experience the world and you say, oh my God, this is real maja. Huh? Foolishly, I kept away from it. What? Scotch bottle. I did not know Scotch is so beautiful. Or whiskey bottle. I didn't know whiskey gives you such elevated state it puts you in. I did not know. So many times I was passing by what? Duty free shop. Never did I buy. I was ignorance. That is not Vairagya. You very well know the joy the world offers to you, and then you say no to it because you have no value for it. That knowledge of the object is important. In fact, I will come back to that point which we have often discussed. Gayatri Ma, remind me. What are the points to check one's Vairagya? What are the points to check one's Vairagya? But before we get to that, Harish, I don't want to lose lose the focus. The question is now,
what is the journey?
What is a journey that will lead us to the state of dispassion, which you can practice?
Can we say, Guruji, that we start transforming ourselves from being extrovert to introvert in stages to start the withdrawal process with a very conscious effort because we want to self-develop ourselves. We take a conscious decision to withdraw from the world in stages, from extrovert to introvert. Would that be part of the journey, Guruji?
No, your answer is right. The only thing is I'm a little concerned with the use of terminology.
Okay.
Independently, you're right, because we're not talking of becoming introverted or extroverted. That's not the context here. But if you use the right choice of words, the choice of words, as I said, you know, okay, if you do, I'm sure you all understand the concept of renunciation. Vairagya also is renunciation. Which is what we are saying. You can't practice renunciation to the lower. You can't practice vairagya to the lower. What can you practice? Gayatri, what can you practice?
Have a higher goal so that the lower drops.
What you can only try to do is you try to develop a passion for something higher. That's all you can do. You can't practice dispassion to the lower. What you practice is passion for the higher. So just even using the terminology, you get the right, you come to the right point. Now, where is your passion? Find out where is your passion. What are you running behind? What is it that consumes your thoughts? Now, if I tell you drop that, you can't drop it. How can this dropping of that can happen only when you develop a passion for something higher, something better, something nobler. So conceive something better than this and slowly start shifting your focus to that. And once you get established in that, over a period of time, you shift your focus, get established in the higher, then you will find slowly the lower, which was your primary purpose of life, starts losing its grip over you. The object starts losing its charm for you. You don't have that same charm you had before for the same object. Object is the same. Everything is same, but the nature of your mind has changed. The characteristic of your mind has changed. This is how you go about slowly, diligently, consistently keep purifying your mind to the innumerable desires and vasanas you have. It is not overnight you can purify the mind. It's a process of aneka janma. Please understand that. You must be very humble in your effort. If I say aneka janma, will you give up? Yo, I can't put that effort, give up. So goal also got kicked out. If the goal is daunting, would you give up the effort? The real go-getters will get it. That's what in the Gita he says, scarce one indeed reaches me. Why? Because it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy to get to the goal. The goal is not that easy. So please get the concept of dispassion, vairagya, how you practice passion. So when you practice passion, what you develop is dispassion. Passion for the higher, dispassion for the lower. And then you come to a point where that higher becomes lower to you. Then what do? You pick up something higher. After a while, what happens? That very higher becomes lower to you, start stagnating. What do? Pick up something higher. So this process of raising the goal, raising the passion, ultimate passion is self-realization. So when you are so passionately seeking self-realization, everything under that has no meaning. That is how you purify the mind. And to the extent the mind is purified, there will be no vega. The word vega, there is no vega. Raghu, what does your chat GPT say for vega? I only remember chat GPT when I saw you, Raghu. Otherwise, I forgot. Association of thought. What are we associating you with? Tell me, easy. Forget chat GPT. What is vega, Raghu?
Vega, Hari Om Guruji. I don't. This is the first time I'm hearing.
You have never heard the word vega?
Well, is it a speed?
It is a speed. Yes, vega. Vegam is a speed, no?
Yeah, Vegam. Yeah.
So
Vega.
so when you develop, when you have purified the mind, there is no vega. So how do you connect the purified mind to lack of vega? Can you associate the two? Can you connect the two?
Probably the thoughts may not generate too fast in a purified mind, or probably they're in a state where the thoughts are very less, like the frequency.
The frequency or the intensity of thought, the pressure to rush into the world subsides. The vega is the force. They say one is the desire, right? Another thing is the vega in the desire. You must be able to dissect the two separate things. One is the desire, another is the force arising out of the desire, the vega. So first what goes is, first the vega arising out of the desire goes.
Yeah, I think sometimes we can relate to some things we want to eat, or sometimes the good dishes or something. The desire
There
was
is that
very strong.
rush.
Yeah.
There is that rush, anxiety. You can't hold back.
Yeah.
So the rush goes first, then goes the desire. So you can look at it from many ways, So that cultivation of vairagya. So when you want to actually test, have I got vairagya to this object or desire? The vega of the desire in the desire goes. The desire is there, but you don't have that. I'm going to miss that. That kind of rush is not there. Kind of anxiety. I must get hold of it before I miss the chance. It's like when you see people in a marriage, the buffet, when they have to serve themselves, I wish each of them are given a tambalam. That plate they have is too small to serve all the dishes, because there are 100 dishes to serve. And your worry is, how will I hope I will not miss anything? I want to eat everything. And you must see their greed. They'll just keep filling their plates with every possible thing, inch.
Yeah, I would like to add to that, Guruji. In a place like a buffet where they give 100 or 200, we can easily detect who has vairagya and who is acting with the rush, because most of the time the plates are left with full of food waste after they leave. If the person is really hungry, they can estimate how much they can eat, but overestimating because of that vega probably.
Correct. I'm reminded of, I don't know, Ushama, US, I'm talking of the times, thanks, Raghu. We used to go to, Harish, also you also would remember, in Malaysia, in Pizza Hut, they used to have a salad bar. Do you know that, Harish? Ushama, you remember US? In certain Pizza Huts, they used to have a salad bar. And salad bar it's a, let's say 5 ringgit 90 cent or 6 7 ringgit, whatever it is. They'll give you a bowl and you can fill as much as you want, one time filling. So how, and there is cucumber, there is tomato, there is corn, and there is lettuce and many other things there. So what they do is, I've seen people, I used to laugh at it. They will create a trough. So what they do is they will put the salad bar with base of tomatoes and create a size of that bowl is just this, but they'll create the height of that ball this much and they keep filling it in that. And they're going by the rule, only once filling. So they'll fill it up, they make it a mini mountain with volcanic flow, because all the sauces are actually dripping. By the time they reach from the serving place to the table, half of it is spilled also. It's like a live volcano. I'm reminded of that Vega.
Soon they stop that.
Correct. It is a biggest loss for them. Biggest loss. So they stopped that salad bar concept. There you go. You're right. So that Vega. So it's not that all of a sudden the object loses value for you or it doesn't disappear. Slowly the object starts changing its character in your mind. The character for the object or being starts changing its character in your mind until you come to a point where there is no, as Shivaji said, or sorry, Soumyama is saying, the complete temptation goes. The temptation is completely gone. It's no more a temptation. So you may enjoy it, you may keep it, you may have it. You can't run away from the world, can you? The minimal what the world can be, you have it. You may even enjoy it. First time other day, walked into a supermarket to pick up something here, groceries, saw custard apple. It's one of the fruits I relish, I enjoy. After 1 year, I'm seeing custard apple. I'm happy to say there is no Vega. Okay, when the season comes, when it comes up, when it's available, we'll eat. Why should you go the very first sight, fill your cart with it and let me only enjoy it? You can evaluate yourself to every object of desire. Just see how your mind behaves. Reddy Garu, what was our experience in Malaysia? The last thing.
Experiences numerous, Guruji.
Experiences will have.
I'm just trying to.
I'm very singular experience. Don't go out of context. Huh?
No. I'm just going the Vega at which I run through Uniqlo store.
that was not the point, but I can endorse what Reddy is saying. Fair enough. But what was the
Yes.
last thing we did in the airport while we were transiting?
No, I could not get
I'll
connected.
remind you. US, one of the things I used to do when I used to live there is maybe at least, it's not necessarily has to happen, but once in a while, maybe once in a month
Coffee.
or once in 2 months, I used to have that Old Town white coffee, 1 cup.
Hot coffee.
Once a month or once in 2 months, whenever you find the thing. In that 2.5 weeks I was there, I didn't get a chance to drink that cup of coffee. Didn't get a chance. So when after all that exercise we went through transiting and we were at the gate, when we saw that, I said, hopefully this fellow is serving that coffee. Isn't it, Rediga? I said
Yes.
that to you, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
So you can measure, you may say it's just a cup of coffee, or it could just be a custard apple, or it could be any object of desire. As that fellow wanted a young lady to remarry. Any object, Ravana is the limit. Enjoying desire or object of desire, Ravana is taken as a yardstick because he wanted Sita. So it is not the question of wanting Sita, but wanting any object of desire is called Ravana. Correct, Reddy garu?
Yes.
So you can enjoy the object with a perfect command over it, where you have not lost control over it. You enjoy the object, you possess it, you enjoy it, you acquire it, but yet the object has lost its charm for you. Or you go gaga behind that object. This is all I'm only explaining what that state of purified mind means. Siddharaman Garu, please don't remind me of that. You know, Setuji wanted to visit our house, and some reason that evening didn't materialize after our return from Malaysia. And so sweet of him, so thoughtful of him. By then he had arranged the best vada pav in Hyderabad. He bought and kept it. And I had told Amma, sorry Ma, I have something else. Can we defer it to tomorrow? The next day when we met, he told that yesterday I had vada pav arranged. I did not know the presence of vada pav along with Setuji. I thought only Setuji is coming. But if vada pav also was coming, I would have rushed to him. I did not know, sir. So I need to cultivate little more vairagya for vada pav. Jokes apart. Hariji, sorry, sir. You've been blessing us for a long time.
What has the rishi in mind when he says the prana enters the mind through the 5 activities of pranas?
So on the section I didn't connect it. I didn't explain it. I've only explained the first line and the last line because they're connected.
Okay.
I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
So coming to what you're asking, Hariji, the prana is the life principle. What is the life principle? The prana here refers to the self, which is the conscious principle. In fact, it is the consciousness. The prana, the life principle, has entered the mind of all beings in 5 ways and interwoven as pranas, vital airs. So the first prana is the consciousness, is the life-giving principle, which is the life-giving prana. The life-giving prana has entered the mind. And it has become the 5 pranas. What are the 5 pranas? The prana, apana, samana, vyana, udana. The 5 pranas, prana is inhalation, apana is exhalation, samana is digestion, vyana is distribution, udana is thought absorption. I repeat for those who have not jotted down. Prana is inhalation, apana is exhalation, Samana is digestion. Vyana is the distribution. And Udana is the thought absorption. Now, these 5 physiological functions are at the gross level. But the apex of all these pranas is the mind. What controls these physiological functions is the mind. So he says the prana, which is the life-giving principle, has identified with the mind and expressed through the 5 pranas, which are the 5 physiological functions, which has created this life. So the union of the pure consciousness plus the mind expressing through the 5 pranas is life, which is what is beings, he says. The beings are created. So just like the consciousness has come into manifestation through the mind, that's what I said in the opening remark of the mantra. The consciousness has chosen the mind to manifest. So the unmanifest Brahman becomes the manifested world through the mind. Are you clear there? Yes.
Sorry to trouble you.
Not at all.
How does the mind has control on the physiological function, which is involuntary? See, if
No.
I have to breathe,
For example, when your mind is, let's say if there's fear in the mind, your breath goes out of control.
okay,
When your mind is agitated, digestion goes out of control. When your mind is agitated, you can't absorb any thoughts. So the apex of all pranas is the mind. So the mind controls these physiological functions, subtle over gross.
okay,
You get it, sir?
okay, okay.
Thank you. So your pranas are affected when the mind is agitated. That you have to understand. That's why we say prana. So the mind is the apex of all pranas. And what is the apex of the mind? The prana, the single prana. So the singular prana means the consciousness, which he calls it as the life principle. आशमा समझ रहे हैं आप? थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन है.
ठीक है.
ठीक है.
जी जी
समझ में आ रहा है?
आ रहा है समझ में. मेरे समझ में आ रहा है. I'm not able to put this sense into one or two other ladies that I want to.
Don't worry of them. You have to be worried of yourself. You are concerned of your salvation, your
They're
moksha.
so content in their own routine and looking after the
Let-
family, the servant.
Let them be caught up in their samsar. Why are you becoming their samsar? Why is their samsar becoming your samsar? Drop it. Drop it. What you should be interested in is your upliftment. ठीक है माँ? But आपको ये समझ में आ रहा है ना? How we are connecting the prana, the single prana is a life principle, which expresses through the mind, which is the apex of the 5 pranas, which are the physiological functions.
जी.
Just as the Brahman, which is unmanifest, manifests through the mind, you will have to use the same channel from the manifest, use the mind to get to the unmanifest.
Okay.
I hope you get the point. So what they are saying is, Brahman, which is unmanifest, expresses through the mind, through the 5 pranas. Okay, the Brahman here is said to be the prana, which is the life principle. So if this is the order of unmanifest to the manifest, now you can go back. To the from manifest, you can head back to Brahman. The pivotal is so from the manifest, we can go to unmanifest, and the crux, the key is the purification of the mind. Outstanding. It's just so scientific, so logical, so picture perfect. And the purification of the mind, we have explained it as Vairagya. Attainment of Vairagya is the purification of the mind. So Ashrama sent a direct message to me. Who decides what is lower and higher? It may differ in all individuals. Absolutely. Who decides? How can I decide for you, or you decide for me, or vice versa? What had a value for you in the past may have no value or less value for you today. What interests me may not concern you at all. So that is purely subjective. It's a personal relationship to your objects and beings of the world that you're living in. So you will have to evaluate yourself with reference to your own vasanas or desires, not with reference to others. And see how your mind has transformed to your vasanas. Therefore, one of the important measuring tools to measure Vairagya, is that what we said, Gayatri Ma? What is the checklist? Huh?
What are the points to check one's Vairagya?
What is the checklist to measure one's Vairagya? What is the checklist? Okay, so I think we will, I would leave you all with these thoughts. You please come back with the question. We will continue We'll come back with the question next week. So the question is, what are the checklists to measure one's vairagya? Okay. We'll come back. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.